So from fashion to how major publications are using Pinterest and what kind of traffic that they're seeing, there was a study, I don't know if a study is the right word, but there was some type of analysis commissioned by Pointer that looked at 13 different big city dailies, broadcast news, and financial publications about how they were using Pinterest and what kind of traffic results, repins, etc., were being seen by those. And I think you did an article that talked about this as well.
Yeah, I did. I just couldn't believe it. Just like you, I was caught up in what the people who worked for the news networks were saying about it. First, there was what PBS Director of Digital Marketing Kevin Dando said. He said that referrals from Pinterest back to PBS are not yet a realistic goal. And yet he's getting tons of traffic on Pinterest. He's got a lot of followers there, but he can't get them to click through the pins to go to PBS.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Denver Post Daniel Schneider said Pinterest isn't a driver of clicks at all.
I thought this was really interesting because both, like you're saying, both of these people have decent number of followers. Maybe not like we've talked about before, like in the millions or even tens of thousands. They don't get traffic, but they're getting followers. But you're saying people aren't clicking through their pins to actually go to the content they're pinning from.
Yes, those followers aren't turning into clicks.
Do you think there is a distinction though between products that are very unique and compelling, like Etsy might have on their site, and like news stories? Because your article actually talked about how maybe Pinterest is too sticky, but there's probably a distinction there, right? Like people aren't going to Pinterest necessarily to get news and to leave the site for that, but maybe they would leave for like a how-to on hairstyling or for a really compelling product.
Perhaps. Perhaps they'd click through for a recipe or a tutorial. But, I mean, PBS and the Denver Post both publish news you can use, which is sometimes tutorials or recipes, and yet they're not getting click-throughs. And Etsy has tons of products.
Right. But it's kind of the distinction between, like Etsy's getting very aggressive about trying to promote on there, but at the same time, they still get the most traffic from Pinterest of almost any site. Isn't that right?
They drive the most traffic to Pinterest, but I don't know how much traffic they get from Pinterest. And what's odd is that it's not that we can't derive it that way. You think you get into Pinterest what you get out of it. But it seems to be that people go onto Pinterest and then they just stay there. They don't want to leave.
Do you think that's going to be a problem for them long term? I mean, like we've talked about, like Facebook is for your friends and Pinterest is actually to see stuff that you might buy. So we've seen studies where people will leave Pinterest to purchase things, probably more than any other social network. But at the same time, it's sort of a way to be entertained or take kind of it's kind of like flipping through a magazine. And so while it might be more popular than other social networks for e-commerce, do you think that they're still going to have issues getting people to leave the site because it's so compelling?
Maybe other sites that have Pinterest accounts are going to stop trying to put so much effort into it, but it's never going to be bad for Pinterest to have users who love the site so much they don't want to leave.